Hi, welcome to Strike. In this video, we'll look at the FII-DII data screen and see the fund flows in the cash market and see the positioning of the market participants in the futures and options market. Tracking FII and DII data can provide an insight to what big players are doing in the stock market. It can give us an outlook of the market since the decision of these players are backed by strong data points and economic and global outlook. At the top left, you can see a drop down where you can select the data you want to see. Right now, I have clicked on the cash market FII data. On the left hand side, you can see a data window, and on the right hand side at the top, you can see the chart, and at the bottom, you can see a red and a green bar. Green bar indicates net buying, red bar indicates net selling. When we look on the left hand side towards the data window, you can see 4 columns over there. One is for date, one is for amount, which is in crores, and amount is nothing but the net buying or the selling. If it is in green, it means that there has been a net buying on that day. And if it is in red, it means that it is net selling on that day. In the third column, you can see Nifty closing. In the fourth column, you can see the percentage change of the Nifty on that particular day. At the top left, you can also see an option to select daily data, monthly data, or yearly data. If you select daily data, then you can see historical data up to 1 year. However, if you want to see a historical data for more than 1 year, then you might have to choose monthly or yearly option. If you click on monthly, you can see the net FII figure for that particular month. If someone wants to further see how the day-to-day activity has been in that particular month, then they can click on the arrow. Basically, the net figure of FII in the month of April 2023 is the sum of day-to-day activity which has happened in the month of April. When you clicked on the monthly option, you would have noticed some change in the screen on the right hand side. The line chart is the Nifty monthly chart, and the green and the red bar indicates net buying or selling in that particular month. Change percentage indicates the return that Nifty has given in that particular month. Now similar are the features in the yearly option as well, where you see the column of amount. So the one which are in red, it indicates the net selling that the FIs have done in that particular year, and the returns that you see in green. And in change percentage, the figures that you see is nothing but the returns that has come by in that particular year. So if it is in red, that means the Nifty has given negative return, and if the number is in green, it indicates that the Nifty has given positive return. Now let's understand why this screen is important and why it deserves some attention. So when we click at the monthly option and see the price action and the bars, you will see some similarities. Where there has been heavy selling, those were actually down days for the Nifty, and the moment you see selling subside and some buying kicking in, you can see the Nifty index rising higher. The same was true somewhere over here in October, then the same was true somewhere in the month of March as well. Later in April 2021, when you saw buying exhaustion and selling kicking in, despite of that, the Nifty index kept inching higher, and this was probably one of the phase where the Nifty index kept inching higher, but there was still selling that was done by the FIIs. Eventually, the FIIs started selling aggressively and the Nifty index turned sideways. Once again, in June, once the selling subsided, in fact, in the month of July when the selling subsided, that's when the Nifty again started its uptrend. And now in Jan as well, when there was a selling spike by the FIIs, soon when the selling subsided, that's when the Nifty index started bouncing back as well. Now this is not just true only for the monthly data, but it is true for the daily data as well. In the month of December, when the buying faded and there was some selling, you can see the Nifty index started drifting lower. And the moment when the selling started accelerating, that's when you saw a sharp decline in the Nifty index as well. But later on, when the selling subsided a bit, there was a minor degree bounce again. But now you notice that the fall after Feb 16, those were on low volumes, which means that there was volume divergence. You can see over here that the selling was not as high as it was in the month of Jan, but the Nifty index kept drifting lower and it made lower lows. It ultimately led to exhaustion, and later on when we started seeing buying by the FIIs, that's when the Nifty index started inching higher. You can notice over here that there were few days of correction, and that was mainly because FIIs were selling a bit, but later on once again when they started their buying streak, that's when the Nifty index started inching higher once again. So that's how the fund flows can help you in analyzing the trend, and it can be very useful to also determine the turning points, because when you see a selling exhaustion, that means that if there has been a very large selling and post that if we are not seeing a follow-up selling, that's when there is an indication that some bounce could be around the corner. Most of the time FIIs and DIIs are on the opposite side, which means if FIIs are net buyers, then most of the time DIIs are net seller on that particular day, whereas if the FIIs are net seller, then DIIs most of the time are net buyers on that particular day. Now, if you want to plot the FII-DII activity on the same screen, then you can click on indicators and you can click over here DIIs, and you can see the activity of FIIs and DIIs both on the same screen. If you want to see only DII activities and its data, then you can go on the top left and you can click on the drop down and click on cash market DII screen. The functionality of this screen is exactly similar to the cash market FII screen. Now let's look at the derivative screen. There are 4 categories here: FIIs, prop, DIIs and client. In each of the category, you will see their activities in future index, future stock, option index call, option index put, option stock call and option stock put. The 2 important columns in the screen are net position column and the days change column. If you see the figure in red and there is a downward arrow, it means bearish positions are created, and if you see the figure in green and an upward arrow, it means that bullish positions are created. There is only one catch in the index put option and the stock put option, and that is over here you can see the figure is in positive, yet it is downward arrow, which means that the FIIs in this case are net buyers in the put. But if you see in the days change, there is a negative sign, but the figure is in green and you see an upward arrow, which means that the FIIs are net short today in the put options. Next to the FII future index, you can see a drop down. Over here right now I've clicked on net position. Remember I told you that net positions and days change are the key monitorable things in this screen. So over here when I click on the net position, it tells me the trend of FIIs in the index futures. In this case, you can see that the FIIs have been covering their short position in the index futures, and that is why you can see that the size of the red bars are declining. In fact, on 2nd of May, the bar turned green, which means that the FIIs were net buyers in the index futures. But then after they became net sellers in the index futures, and that is why you can see the red bars. Now if I click on the days change option, it tells me how the FIIs activity has been in that particular day. So for example, if I see a big green bar over here, it tells me that the FIIs have been net buyer in the index futures to the tune of 21,716 contracts. Whereas on the next day, they shorted the index futures by around 15,957 contracts. So similarly, you can see the FIIs activity in the different instrument, that is in the stock futures, in the index call option, or in the index put option, in the stock call option, or stock put option. Now over here again you can change and you can see, if you want to see the net position, then that is how it will look like. If someone wants to see the data, then they can click the icon over there and they can see the data in the pop-up. At the top left next to derivatives, there is a drop down where you can see historical data up to 1 month. So say if you click on 4th of May, you can see FII activity on 4th of May and you can see the graph up to 1 month, which means from 5th of April to 4th of May. However, if you want to see it in a tabular form, then you can click the icon and you can see the data for past 1 month. If you want to see the data for more than 1 month, then you can go to the sentiment indicator and you can explore the section of participant positioning.